Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tin Man's Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm going to smash out this reaction from the Ten Animated YouTube channel. And the video I'm reacting to is the evolution of the Hulk. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
Bruce Banner was just your everyday super genius scientist. Then he was exposed to gamma radiation, and now in anger, he becomes the lovable, monstrous Green Hulk. This is his live-action evolution, animated. Bruce Banner first appears in the television series The Incredible Hulk, named David for some reason. As he searches for a cure to his Hulk affliction, he's pursued by a nosy reporter. When transformed, he appears as a tall, muscular man in green paint, with an exaggerated brow and a straight-haired wig.
Even though I wasn't born in this era, I still think Lou Ferrigno is the number one Hulk out of all the CGI'd ones, because he really put in the time and effort to gain muscle just to audition for this character and be the Hulk for a television series that spanned it for 5 seasons. It's truly amazing.
After the series, this Hulk would appear in 3 TV movies. In the first, the Hulk teams up with Thor.
Yeah, out of the 3 TV movies, I like this one the best because, one, Thor's in it, but I like the title, Incredible Hulk Returns. David Banner was just working as a scientist trying to cure himself from the Hulk, but then Donald Blake had to bring Thor to him, and they started fighting, and Hulk came out. But I just liked how the Hulk looked in that movie. And plus, I heard Lou Ferrigno kind of worked a little bit harder to get more muscles than he had on the show, but the storyline was perfect in this one.
Battles some generic bad guys, and also attempts to make way for a Thor spin-off series, which never happens. The sequel features a now bearded David Banner, although his beard disappears when he transforms.
Yeah, that's just weird. You would think that since David Banner has a beard, when he transforms into the Hulk, he should have had a beard too. I mean, the makeup people couldn't just put a stuck-on green beard on him. It's almost like his facial hair just goes right back into the face when he's Hulk. That didn't make no sense whatsoever.
Together with Daredevil, they take on the crime boss Kingpin, while also trying to create space for a Daredevil spin-off series.
Yeah, you see, I don't get why the studio did not want to get the Thor and the Daredevil series off the ground, because, hey, I would have loved to track them down on DVD and watch them. I know the actors that played Thor and Daredevil are older now, but hey, they could still pull off older versions of their characters, basically, in live-action television today, if they wanted to, that is. But I still don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Which also never happens. In the final film, we see Banner tracking down a spy agency. As the Hulk, he attacks their plane and in the explosion falls to Earth, succumbing to his wounds.
Which I hated, because they were going to do another film called Revenge of the Hulk, where they brought David Banner back to life, but he couldn't transform back into Hulk, and he was captured by some rogue government agency to recreate the accident that caused him to become the Hulk for their agents. In order to stop him, he actually recreated what he did to turn into the Hulk to begin with, and the Hulk was going to speak for the first time. But apparently, the TV network just pulled the plug, and Bill Bixby got sick with cancer, and he fortunately passed away, so they couldn't do another one, which is a bummer and sad. And Lou Ferrigno said he talked about he wouldn't mind coming back as the Hulk, but more like a cameo Hulk. But I get he don't want to. I get it. He don't want to get back in that green makeup ever again, because it's already done and over with for him.
Hulk's feature film debut showcases a younger Bruce Banner able to unleash a baby-faced and overly saturated Hulk.
This one, I remember liking back in the early 2000s. It was the first Hulk that I remember watching as a kid. But I just still didn't like the design. When he gets angry, he looks baby-faced, and he grows taller than what the Hulk in the comic books and cartoons did.
Grows larger the angrier he becomes, ultimately reaching over 15 feet tall.
Yeah, that's just crazy. But also, when he had that scene where he was fighting them gamma-radiated dogs, that was epic. But
he goes head-to-head with his element-absorbing father.
Which I thought that scene was cool, but it just seems like his dad didn't care for him later on in years. All he just cared about was the power that Bruce has, and he wanted to absorb it into him, which didn't work out in his favor.
But the government attempts to nuke them both, defeating his father while Bruce survives and makes his way to South America. The MC.
And I heard that they were going to make a Hulk 2 movie where it picks up in South America and you could see him transforming into the Hulk again to beat up that cartel that was taking on the medicine. But of course it got scrapped because I guess Universal at that time didn't want to make a sequel, and the director didn't want to come back and do it. But anyway, they were going to talk about this one that's in the MCU.
New reboot opens in South America, where a new Bruce Banner is being hunted by the government.
You can say it's a slight reboot, but it's just its own thing because it don't have ties to the other Hulk movie. I liked how they try to pay homage to the Incredible Hulk TV show since he's packing his bags up and tries to flee before government officials get him.
When provoked, he unleashes a more yellowish and veiny-looking Hulk.
Now, when this Hulk came out, I saw this one in theaters, and I was like, yes, they got him right. I thought. My dad thinks Mark Ruffalo's Hulk looks more cartoon, comic book accurate, but I like this one, even though his skin tone is a little bit more saturated, but it looks weird with all the veins popping out.
This time scaling to around 9 feet tall. He takes out a DNA-spliced abomination and manages to hide away in Canada, where he tries to gain control of his anger and live in peace. In the Avengers, Banner somehow looks completely different, and when transformed, appears less yellowish and less veiny, with added chest hair, rounder facial features, 5 o'clock shadow, and a more slouched stance.
And I saw this Avengers film too, and I was disappointed that Edward Norton couldn't reprise his Hulk role. But again, he had some drama issues with the studio, so I could see why they had to get rid of him. His Hulk ain't that bad, actually, but I just didn't like the Hulk kind of slouching like he's got a hunchback problem.
He teams up with his fellow superheroes to save humanity from a puny god. Iron Man.
I love that scene. Yeah, Hulk wasn't going to take no crap from Loki, that's for sure.
3 features a sleepy Bruce Banner lending an ear to Tony Stark before coming back in full force for the Avengers Age of Ultron. The Hulk now wears stretchy purple pants and has more exaggerated facial features. As he's put under mind control, he attacks random civilians, only to be stopped by Tony Stark's Hulkbuster suit. He then helps take out super intelligent robots and promptly flies a ship into space, despite his girlfriend's pleas to stay. In Thor Ragnarok, the Hulk is now living on the junk planet of Sakaar, sporting a new haircut, an upright stance, and more human facial feature.
You see, I'm glad that they improve Mark Ruffalo's Hulk design in this movie because it's showing that Hulk is evolving. Basically, he don't keep on roaring, saying a few phrases here and there. He's actually starting to speak. But it's cool to see him in this gladiator armor, which he's about to show.
Don shiny gladiator armor to...
I love the idea that they brought in the whole Planet Hulk concept into this movie, but it's a tad bit different than the Planet Hulk movie that I watched in my early teen years, because on that animated movie, the Avengers just basically sent Hulk to Sakaar because they thought he was too dangerous to be left on Earth, and then he ends up defeating the ruler of Sakaar and become the new ruler. At least Thor was able to get the Banner in this one and get him to come with him back to Asgard, and then they go back to Earth together.
Fight Thor, then agrees to help save the Asgardians from Thor's sister and her pet wolf. They then head back to Earth on their ship. Avengers Infinity War begins with Thanos boarding their ship mid-voyage and facing the Hulk in battle. Hulk loses the fight, and for the rest of the film, Bruce Banner is no longer able to bring out his large green counterpart.
Which I am mad as hell about. I know the Hulk lost from Thanos, but he shouldn't have been hiding, acting scared, because he could have just did a round two and tried to rip off Thanos' arm with that glove on it.
Opting to wear Tony Stark's Hulkbuster suit to keep up in battle. So how will the Hulk appear in the next Avengers? Maybe a mohawk and leather jacket?
No.
Or maybe She-Hulk will take his place. That is, if she hasn't been snapped away by Thanos.
Well, I can already tell you that's not how he looks in Endgame. So I know Aaron is going to have to make an updated version for the Hulk. Well, okay, then out of the Incredible Hulk from the television series, played by Lou Ferrigno, up to Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in Avengers Infinity War, which you barely saw him as the Hulk in that movie. Which version would be your favorite Hulk out of this video? Or you have another version of the Hulk you like better? Let me know down in the comments. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more tailored animated content like this. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and I said that's a wrap, and happy Easter, everybody.